But we start things off at the opening night celebration for David Grinley's new production of R.C. Sherriff's World War I play, Journey's End, which is open to rave reviews at the Belasco Theater. We'll chat with Mr. Grinley and the company led by film star Hugh Dancy, newcomer Stark Sands, and Tony Award winners Boyd Gaines and Jefferson Mays. Based on a true experience, Journey's End is set in a trench in San Quentin, France, and follows a group of British officers awaiting their day of reckoning.
Here's a toast to legs! God bless them! Good old legs!
Shanksmare!
Shanks what?
Shanksmare, they call them.
What?
One leg!
Oh, Tommy, you're a dream!
You've had too much champagne, you have.
I say, I've never shown you these before, have I? Oh, where'd you get these from? Bethune. She's all right, isn't she? Too fat. Oh, I don't know. Much too fat. What do you think, Trotter? All right, isn't she?
I don't know. If you ask me, I'd rather have a decent picture of Margate Pier.
No, you don't understand art. There's a nice pair of legs for you. They're too thin. No. Come on, what do you think, Trotter?
Scraggy, I call them.
That's the one I like best. Not bad. Glorious bedroom eyes. This is all right. You ever see that show Zip at the Hippodrome? Couple of damn fine girls in that, twins. Did you see them, Skipper? I don't know. I've seen stacks of shows. I can't remember them all. No, swallow up that bubbly. All right, Mason. Yes, sir. Bring some whiskey. Yes, sir.
What's so delightful is the only worry I had was the potential reaction of a New York audience, because I've never been here before. It's my Broadway debut, and what's amazing is there are certain moments where you can hear a pin drop, and the theatre can be packed and there can be fire engines going outside, but the quality of silence and listening is unbelievable. But equally also, the laughs in the show are unbelievable as well, and the reaction we've had it's just knocked me out. I'm absolutely delighted. I'm thrilled. I couldn't be more thrilled. And so it's been a great 2 weeks, and I just can't wait to see what happens next. So I'm very, very pleased with the show.
I didn't realize how funny it was. I mean, there's so much humor with these men, and that's the one thing I never realized either.
Well, that shows the skill of the writing. I mean, he knows that it is really cranking up the tension moment by moment, and there's no way that tension can sustain, and it has to be dispersed, and he does that through these fantastic moments, primarily between Mason and Trotter. And if you've got people like Jefferson Mays and John Arlene in these roles, then the whole thing just takes off, and it's just that balance is perfect between the tension that really ramps up and you're really on the edge of the seat and you can feel, the hairs on your back of the neck standing up, and then there's enormous laughs that allow you to release all that, ready for the next onslaught of tension that comes after that. So it's just, it's a perfectly written play, and we've got the perfect people to do it, and I'm just delighted.
What's this?
Meat, sir.
I know that. What sauce?
Sort of cutlet, sir.
Sort of cutlets, is it? You know, Mason, there's cutlets and cutlets.
I know, sir. That one's a cutlet.
Well, it won't let me cut it.
No, sir?
That's a joke.
Oh, right, sir.
I started at day one. I was sort of a prop Nazi about the whole thing and said I want all my props out on the tables and I want the authentic things that I'm going to use. Because I think in this role it's sort of pointless to use Dixie cups and paper plates. So they indulged me in that, and I've been working the props, from day one.
Tell me what this play means to you.
As I said, I was just deeply, deeply moved by it when I was 12 years old. I've always wanted to do it, and it strikes me as a mature person that it is a play that does not wear its politics on its sleeve. I think it's the greatest anti-war play ever written. It wears its heart on its sleeve. It's about ordinary men in diabolical, extraordinary circumstances trying to do the best they can by each other. And when I was 12 years old, I left the theater quaking with adolescent sobs and feeling strangely uplifted and ennobled by it. I wasn't sure why, but I think I know why now, and it's just the deep humanity of this piece. It's a domestic drama set in this hell.
All the characters are in World War I in the trenches, and they have to, 50 yards away is a German army intent on killing them, and they have to put that out of their mind. And what Trotter does is eat his way through the war, and he has such a positive outlook, and he is always giving to all the men around him. And he has, he has concerns himself, but the true spirit of the character rises above it all. And and it's just a joy to just lose myself into that guy every night.
Well, I get to play really, a man who's a much better man than I am. He's a person who really puts others before himself. He's kind of the father confessor, but really he's there to take care of the other, these boys. He's a schoolmaster, and I think probably couldn't bear the fact that all his students were graduating, going off to war and getting killed. He had to go and help out as best he could. He's an older officer when there were plenty of these guys in the First World War. So I have nothing but admiration for him.
He says, "And now I come to the great news. I reported at battalion headquarters, and the colonel looked in a little book and said, 'You report to C Company, Captain Stanhope.' Can't you imagine what I felt? I was taken along some trenches and shown a dugout. There was an awfully nice officer there, quite old, with grey hair. And then later, Dennis came in. He looked tired, but that's because he worked so frightfully hard and because of the responsibility."
It's really about people in a difficult situation. It's certainly, I don't think it's hard to make the leap to say, this could be a unit under attack anywhere in the world. Iraq, yes, but anywhere. And I think what makes the play so great is you get to see how people cope under the worst circumstances, and in a certain way brings out the absolute best in them.
Next night, 3 of our men crawled out to get him in. It was so near the German trenches that they could have shot our fellows one by one. But when our men began dragging the wounded man back over the rough ground, a big German officer stood up in their trenches and called out, "Carry him!" And our fellows stood up and carried the man back. And the German officer fired some lights for them to see by.
I'll top it.
Next day we blew each other's trenches to blazes.
It all seems rather silly, doesn't it?
It does, rather.
My character's name is Second Lieutenant Jimmy Raleigh. He's fresh off the boat. He's right out of officers training school, and he's just wants to serve, and he just wants to do the right thing. His hero from high school has been fighting in the war for 3 years, and is now a captain in a company, and all of a sudden, somehow, Raleigh gets placed in his hero's company as one of his fellow 5 officers on the front lines. And it's unbelievable to him that his luck is so good. However, the guy that he knew in high school is different. He's changed, and the war has taken its toll on him. So the journey that Raleigh goes through is really a rites of passage into manhood. At the beginning of the play, he's this eager beaver kid who just wants to do the right thing and make everybody happy and proud, and he starts realizing what the war is really about, and the story behind it is it's a wonderful one to be a part of.
Well, I mean, the reason I wanted to do it was it was such a simple decision. This production came from the West End, where it had been an enormous success. It was the same production, the same director, with this incredible New York-based cast on Broadway. So, I'm not an idiot. I leapt at it. But beyond that, the character of Stanhope goes through such extremes, and I suppose if I could try and sum it up, that the challenge for an actor is to present, a young man, a very young man, younger than myself, who's still carrying around with him the innocence of his youth, but at the same time has gone through more hellish experiences than any of us have seen. So he's both of these things at the same time. That's his drama, if you like. So that was why it was appealing to me as an actor.
Though your lads are far away, they dream of home.